Hi, my name is Tim, and I taught English as a second language in Taiwan for 19 years, including classes in how to score well on the TOEFL, the TOEIC, and IELTS test. Today, I am going to give you some tips and hints on how to score well on the TOEFL test. For example, my first recommendation is that you should not take the TOEFL test, the TOEIC test, or the IELTS test without taking practice tests first. The reason for that is when you take the real test, you want to already be familiar with how it goes. You don't want to be surprised by directions that you don't understand or reading passages that you're not familiar with. You want to make sure you're familiar with the type of questions you'll see on the TOEFL test. So today, my job is to make you familiar with the types of questions you'll see on the TOEFL test. Specifically, I'll tell you about the definition type of questions, example type of questions, and reference questions. And those are the common questions you'll see on the TOEFL test. First, let me tell you an important hint. When you take the TOEFL test or any of these major tests, the questions will come in the same order they're in the reading passage. In other words, you won't see the answer to question number 1 up here, the answer to question number 2 down here, the answer to question number 3 here, 4 here. It won't jump back and forth. They'll go in order. So if you do happen to see the answer to number 1 up here, and then you see the answer to number 3 down here, you know the answer to number 2 was in between. You've already gone past it, which leads me to my next recommendation. When you take the test, first, when you see the reading passage, first read the questions so you know where to look for the answer in the reading passage. If you read the reading passage first, then you read the questions, you may waste a lot of time because you'll have to go back and reread it again. So read the questions first. And another thing to remember is that the answers to the questions are usually specific statements. There are a few things that the test makers put in maybe to confuse students who do not have the highest level of English. There are questions there to distract you. There are answer choices there to distract you. There are answer choices that are irrelevant to the question. There may also be answer choices that are not really mentioned in the reading article, in the reading passage. You need to be able to skip over those to find exactly the correct answer. Usually that will be found in the reading passage in a specific statement, maybe 1 or 2 sentences. So that's what you're looking for. Now, let me get to show you examples of the questions so you'll be familiar with the questions when you see them. I will share a screen to show you some here. Okay, and if you look up here, here's the reading passage. You can see it's about hotels. And you could probably answer many of the questions without really reading the whole passage. And if you do read the whole passage, it might help you, but it also might be wasting your time. So first, let's just look at the first question here. The first question is a definition question. It's asking you for the definition of the word bound in line 1. And you should be able to answer this question without really looking back at the passage. In fact, I would recommend if you could answer it without looking back at the passage, that would be best. It's possible if you go back to the passage, you may get confused by some other things in the reading passage that are there to distract you, and you might get confused. But all you're doing is you're looking for the definition of the word bound. And hopefully you know the vocabulary word bound means putting things together or tying things together. And you see the word tied there. You look back, see the word tied there, so that's probably the correct answer. You can look back and let's see, what line was that in? Oh, I forgot the line. Line number 1, that is in, right there. It says the earliest facilities that bound the United States together. Tied fits perfectly. So you know that's, the answer is tied. You need to be a little bit careful The strategy that may not work, that probably will not work, is to try to go back to the sentence and replace the word bound with the other choices, led, protected, and strengthened, because they will often give you words that could be substituted for the word bound, but they won't be the correct answer. You're looking for the word that means the same thing as bound, and that word is tied. If you look at question number 2, it's an example question. You're looking for what is National Republican Party in line number 8 used as an example of? And the way to find out is, if I tell you a couple of examples, before that, I've given you a general statement that tells you what they're examples of. It won't do me any good to tell you examples if you don't know what they're examples of. So look back before National Republican Party in line 8 and find out what they're going to give you examples of. There should be a general statement. So in line number 8, you see National Republican Party. Just before that, it says the first national convention of a major party to choose a candidate. So it says National Convention of a major party. The National Republican Party then is an example of a national convention of a major party. You've got that right there in D. So the answer is D. You want to be careful of answer choices that are put there to distract you. Baltimore is put there to distract you. It's in the city of Baltimore, but that doesn't really answer the question. So don't pick A just because you see the word Baltimore. The whole article is about hotels. Again, that doesn't really answer the question. So you just don't want to pick the word hotel. The correct answer is holding a convention. So we go to number 3. These are reference questions. It's asking you, this is another definition question. It's asking you what the definition of the word assembling is in line number 14. Already, if you have a good vocabulary, if you've studied your flashcards, your vocabulary flashcards, you know that assembling means putting things together. You look down there, you can see the word gathering. If you're not really sure, gathering, assembling, pretty similar. They mean bringing things together. You can go back to line 14. You see the word assembling. It says the growing custom of regularly assembling from afar the representatives of all kinds of groups. Gathering means the same thing. It would work perfectly. So the answer is gathering, C. So pick C. The next question is a reference question. It's asking you what the word ones in line 16 refers to. We go back to line 16. We know ones is an indefinite article. It must be referring to something that just came earlier in the passage. We want to find out what that is. We go back to line 16. There's ones. We read earlier, says not only for political conventions, but also for commercial, professional, learned, and avocational ones. What does ones refer to? It has a list of about 5 things. They're political, commercial, professional, learned, avocational, conventions. Ones refers to conventions. So you've got your answer there. So we go to number 4. You want to pick B, conventions. Don't be distracted by the other words here that may also be in the reading passage. Then we go to number 5. We have the pronoun it. So we know it's not he or she. It's not referring to a person. It's referring to a thing. We want to find out what it refers to in line 21. We go to that's line 22. Line 22, we see, line 22. It, make it prosper. Says becoming leading citizens, holding a large stake in the community. They exercise power to make it prosper. So what is it they want to prosper? They refers to the leading citizens who are holding a stake in the community. And so really they want the community to prosper. So it is referring to the community. They want to prosper. So now we got the answer to number 5, and I will put down below in a link the article if you want to refer to it to check on my answers. So those are my recommendations, my hints and tips on how to get the answers to definition questions, example questions, and reference questions. Next, in the next video, I will tell you how to pick inference and exception questions. Bye-bye.